And we are back. This is the draft season podcast. We are fucking back. Mr. Boy's in the building. This is actually a special episode 69. Raz, how nice. We got a very
Nice.
we have we have a very special guest in the building. This brother, we've been trying to get this episode off the ground for a minute, so I'm so glad that we could finally get to it. It's one of my favorite writers, baseball writers, fantasy writers, whatever you want to call it. You need to be checking his writing out, all of the content that he does. Also one of my favorite Twitter accounts to follow. So also make sure that you are, if you are not in tuned, if you don't know who we're talking about, I got my guy Mikey Ayeto. Did I say that right? I think I said that right.
Ahedo. Yeah.
Ahedo,
That's
Mikey
close.
Ahedo.
That's close,
I was
man.
close. Yeah, not bad. I didn't not too gringo, but I did my best. I feel like I actually did prep that. Like I know how to say that. I just didn't fucking
Yeah.
nerves. I don't
No,
know
I
what it
know
was,
how it
but
is.
nah, but yeah, man, yo, thank you so much for popping on, Mikey. Appreciate you, man. How you doing today, bro?
I appreciate the kind words. I'm doing pretty good. Like I was telling you pre-show, just moved into a new studio. Super excited to be living alone, but like I don't have anything in this house. I just got a bed. I've been living here for a couple nights and just got a bed, but yeah, man. Episode 69. I don't think we could have planned this any better.
Nah, Raz, I was telling him, Raz, I was just like, yo, I'm like, to be honest, like those first couple days when you don't have shit in the apartment, it's just something so pure. And you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, the vibes are just immaculate
That
when you get
means
into
that
that
means
new
this
crib.
episode gonna be the rawest. This is gonna be the hungriest she's been in a minute.
Hmm.
Like this is what we need. This is what the people need.
No,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
man, for sure. And like I said, we when we did schedule this episode, I did not know that we would be
No,
on
yeah.
the I guess the or the post after Hitler Manfred canceled Major League Baseball. I mean, opening day. My former employer, I should say. So nothing they do ever surprises me, to be honest. But and the worst thing we got a lot to talk about today. But yeah, I feel like just before we do get into this lockout stuff, baseball. I'm a huge baseball fan. Obviously, Mikey as well is a baseball fanatic. But it just sucks, man. How whenever baseball is actually in the headlines, it's never anything good. It's never
No.
like, yo, Fernando Tatis is a fucking explosive athlete and so much fun to watch. Juan Soto is like one of the greatest. It's never the good stuff.
Hmm.
It's always Roger Clemens is on Capitol Hill. A Rod, A Rod is like A Rod is stealing fucking drug evidence from from like the people that was taking the Smith test. It's never anything good, but
Uh,
it's just what I've come to expect from baseball, to be honest.
yeah. It's white man sport. That's what it is. Like,
Oh man, yeah, but yeah, it fucking sucks. But before we do get into the lockout, let's tee you off with like some of our appetizers that we do start off all of our special guests with. So just like background stuff for you, Mikey. Obviously, great writer, all the content you do. Shout out to Baseball Perspective, shout out to Brett Sayer, all the great guys that's on the team, TDG family. So shout out to Brett, all the good people over at Baseball Perspectives. But for you at least, just your upbringing, your background for like what made you want to create content, and what were like your first baseball memories that really, or like sports in general, or whatever was like that first like sport memories that really like got you into it, that comes to mind for you.
yeah, so growing up, I have these memories of like being a little guy, and my dad watching like, the Sonics. Like I remember, man, I think it was like GP and Kemp and
Great teams, great teams.
yeah, man, and like great jerseys. So, I
Fuck
was pretty
George
young.
Carl
Oh, fuck him, yes.
Yeah, fuck George Carl. Um, but yeah, I came up like on that. I think some pretty bad Seahawks teams. So not so much the Seahawks as like growing up, I really like basketball. I really like baseball. Um, and we grew up, I grew up, with some pretty insane Mariners rosters. So, I don't remember so much like Randy Johnson and like Jay Buhner or whatever, but I do remember really liking A-Rod and Griffey and like in the late 90s, kind of coming up on that. And some of my fondest memories of life as just me and my dad had a routine where my dad is the hardest working dude I know. He's a Filipino immigrant. He would come home from his 8, 10, 12-hour day. I would take his boots off, and we would lay on the couch and we'd like watch the Mariners, and he would inevitably fall asleep within, I don't know, 30 minutes, and he'd scratch my back, and that was our thing. And so it was like really special bonding time with my dad. And so that's kind of I think where my love for baseball really started, with him. And so yeah, I just remember like being in the backyard in the summer and like the Mariners playing the Yankees, or like watching Barry Bonds play, and I'd run into the backyard and like practice my batting stance and like look at it in the shadow, so that's a lot of it. And in terms of wanting to write, I credit one of my homies, his name's Dustin Ryan. He started a blog with me in 2014, but we would be in ASL class, and every day pretty much I'd come into class and he'd be like, "Hey, yo, did you read that Jeff Sullivan article? Did you read that Dave Cameron article? Whatever." I'm like, "Oh yeah, man, for sure. It was super good. Like, tell me about it." And I did not fucking read those articles. I was just lying my ass off. But he would just hound me every day and be like, "Yo, did you read that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man, I read that." And eventually I had to read them because I was pretending to read all these things, and they were all, like advanced analytics. And
They're deep, man. They're deep. Yeah.
yeah, so that's how I got my foot in the door. And I loved Jeff Sullivan's writing style. It's just like so witty, so unique. So I think it was a marriage of like loving baseball, loving that super fucking unique writing style, and then the analytics kind of spoke to me too. So it was those three things. And so since 2014, I have written about baseball in some capacity, but it wasn't as good. At least the analysis part wasn't as good back in the day, but it's I've sharpened that in the past couple of years.
All right, couple things, Raz. I actually love this because you hit on it, and it just hit like it's random. But Raz, have you ever seen a immigrant parent that was not a hard worker? Like, do those exist?
I haven't seen it to this day.
Yeah.
My pops, he's probably more first generation than anything, but that Caribbean blood runs through him, and he's had 4 jobs my whole life. So you know how that goes.
Yeah, man. That's
Yeah.
just like no, and that was just one thing, and I think the other point you mentioned, which is like so real. And shout out to the great Shakita Taylor. And she actually
Yeah.
posted this. She posted this earlier, and I seen the tweet, and you hit it as well earlier. I have the tweet in front of me. I forgot. I don't know. It was from an ESPN article, and she posted this excerpt. Just to steal the excerpt real quick, but it's the Moneyball generation of fans who think along with the front offices instead of emulating their batting stances of their favorite players, may be tolerant of teams
Yeah.
losing as a practical method to improve future teams. And like once you like when you said going back in being in the backyard practicing, that just brought back so many like great memories, bro.
Right.
Like like in with the wiffle ball, the Gary
Mhm.
Sheffield batting stance, like that
Oh
really just
man.
brought back a lot of great memories, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like shit's like really changed. Like obviously little kids don't care about analytics, but
Or baseball.
right. God damn. But yeah, it
Baseball,
really
yeah.
feels like shit has really like changed. Like Manfred's destroying the game.
Oh man, yeah. So I guess we could get into that a little bit. So yeah, labor dispute, and I think just for if anybody like for if you're not as in tuned with the baseball labor collective bargaining agreements, I do not blame you if you're not tapped in to the minutia of what's going on with that at all. So I mean, just from the panel and what we have, just to share a little bit, and it's just like there's a couple things that I feel like needs to be like just as a starting point. Like this is a lockout, this is not a strike. There's a huge difference. For those of you that like not, like big on like or don't know like the intricacies of labor things. Like this is fully coming from the owners. Like the players are just trying to get a decent deal. They're just trying to get back to play. They're even taking deals that really aren't even in their best you know what I'm saying, that like in their best nature, or what's the best for them in the future, like taking deals that honestly would just get the season started, because the owners do have the leverage, unfortunately. But for you at least, Mikey, what do you make of all of this? Obviously this is a very, I know the passing tweet is a very frustrating, it's a very sad day for baseball. But like, what do you like your takeaways? Obviously I know you're sad just like I am, but what do you take away of it? Like, I'm not really surprised. I don't think you're probably surprised at this
Yeah.
point.
No, I mean, I was shocked last night, with the Bob Nightingale, tweets and everything. I didn't really believe that shit. I was like,
Me
there's no
neither. I didn't want to be
way.
negative. I didn't want to be negative, but I
Yeah,
was just like, don't fall
there's
for
no
the
way they're
banana in the
making up that
tailpipe.
ground.
No, no way.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, in many ways, I'm happy that this happened because it means that the players aren't settling on a worse deal for them. Because the after all this negotiating, the proposal put forth by MLB was essentially the one that they used last year. Um, so I think it's a little overstated how little leverage the union has because um, they don't have to play games, and I know that hurts them more than the players or than the owners. But I do think that the owners are going to start feeling heat once
Eventually,
once their stakeholders are like, "Yo, like
fuck, are
we're
we
supposed to
doing,
be like,
guys?
yeah, we're supposed to be making money." Um, so I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it. I think as like the little kid in me, the fan, it's like fuck, like I'm hella sad. Um, but I think like the more logical emotion, or like yeah, I guess just a logical part of my brain is like yeah, the deal that MLB proposed was shit, and I've been saying this for months now, that if the season started on time, that means that the players not
Good
only
deal.
didn't get a good deal, but got, shafted.
Bend over. Yeah, bend it
Um,
over.
yeah. So I think honestly, I don't see a way that the players get, anything commensurate to what they deserve, because even if the owners took their proposal, that's not even they deserve way more than that.
Yeah.
But, so I'm not optimistic that the union, even gets a fair deal, but I just hope that it's fairer. And I think as fans and fellow, the proletariat, I think, we got to stand in solidarity with them. So
Yeah, man. The oligarchs are the oligarchs, the slumlords. Let's address these people how they really should be
yeah,
addressed. Like,
no,
yeah,
we gotta, I saw a tweet about this the other day. We gotta start calling it what it is. Like, Russians are not the only oligarchs. We gotta call all the, the 1% oligarchs, and that's what these fucking owners are. So yeah.
branded it way better in America because they definitely
Yeah.
they definitely exist. And if you know anything about just like politics, like they're out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like I'm glad I can speak freely on my previous employer now. No ties on that, but like I was watching the Manfred the press conference, man, and it just got me so damn upset, bro. Like even before, I don't know if you caught the full presser, Mikey. I mean, like you didn't miss anything if you did it,
Nah,
but
I'm fucking not watching that shit.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Like literally, so it's like ESPN like cut live to him. So it's like before he even said a word, he pulls up to the podium or whatever. Before he even says a word, like he chuckles. I'm just like, I'm like, oh, he's on his
Yeah.
bullshit already. Like
Yeah.
already starting with the bullshit. Like it was a master class in bullshit. So, Raz, I don't know if you had any takes on just the bullshit going on with the game, bro.
I mean, for me personally, we already know that baseball struggles like just across like the demographics that these other sports don't, like in terms of ratings, all of that. And any stop in labor in any games being played is a hit. on that. And the fact that
Mhm.
now that kids, like you guys said earlier, kids don't care about baseball.
Mhm.
And the reasoning behind that is some of the stuff that we're seeing right now. It's to the point where we're not getting these games played. The games take too long, and Rob Manfred doesn't have a clue. And I thought Bud was pretty bad when I was growing up,
Oh
just with some
man.
of the stuff that we had, but it's gotten worse. And, to a game that basically everyone has kind of grown up around it, as a little kid. It's kind of one of those first games that you're introduced to as a child when you're going to start playing sports. All the fun is gone. And now we have people that have the audacity to cap for the owners. Like, why are we caping for these owners right now? Like
That's so that the bootlegging is disgusting.
it's like we're
Looking
caping
at you, John Heyman.
for billionaires. Like the players should play. Like when like I'm the one of the hugest sports fans I know. Like we do this. This is what we do every day. We talk sports on this here podcast. I still to this day, with all my sports knowledge, can't tell you what the fuck goes on in MLB, free agency, arbitration, any of that. So the fact that if I can't tell you that, and I follow the sport, relatively close, I'm not like you guys. I still have my kid lens on with it. That's the only way I've been able to stay with baseball. Because if I would have jumped into the advanced analytics, I would have been a cynic. I
Oh
would
man,
have
that's
been
the
a
way to
cynic.
be.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
hear you. But that's
Yeah.
how I am with every other sport. I had to keep a sport where I could just keep it through. Where I picture myself with my Ken
Right.
Griffey's.
Right, you're a that nigga's nice watcher. We need
Yes,
we need
yeah,
we need
yeah.
those we need those people too.
I'm still him. Like, yeah, I see DeGrom go up there and pitch, and he's great. I don't need to know
Yeah.
his WAR. None of that. I'm good. I know you can't hit it. So my thing is for me is just like I just don't understand how we could let it get to this, but I know how we got here.
Mhm.
And the players are getting shafted. That years of service shit that they got going on, like that has to stop.
It's
And
horrible.
in baseball, the farm system in baseball is hard enough to break through that. So the fact that if you once you finally do break through and you still gotta wait 32 years to get paid, this is why we're here.
Nah, not even and to get to that, Raz, like because you said like Manfred doesn't have a clue, and like to that, like Manfred is a piece of shit, but to like to the point that he doesn't have a clue, I would just fight back on this because like it's one thing that I've realized this as well when we talk about Roger Goodell. And Goodell's just like a human meat shield for any scandal that the NFL has. They're just gonna throw
Mm.
him out there in front. That's basically the role of the commissioner is just to like be that human meat shield whenever there's any controversy or basically just the agenda pusher. Just to make sure we're pushing agendas and placating the needs of the oligarchs and the slumlord owner, billionaires, pardon. So like that's what I said. It's just like this Manfred, he was where he worked under Selig. Um he's the one that negotiated. He was involved with several of the previous other collective bargaining negotiations. He's the one who probably came up with the idea to give out a championship belt for the team that had or the team that suppressed salaries the most in arbitration. Like Manfred, like he's a labor guy. Like he knows this is exactly what he's doing. So like that's the part that's extremely frustrating for me because the writing has been on the wall for what I'm saying, the just the labor the fights that's going on both sides. It's been there for a second. And these guys are accomplished billionaires. Some people get their hair, trust funds, baby, as we call them, just get starting off with the bank account on like a couple $1 billion. Like I wish, but like so those are the ownership groups and those are the people that Manfred works for. So um the owners are, what I'm saying, unified on this, even as a Yankee fan. Like it's just disgusting to see, you know, when you talk about like, tax fund, tax paying money going to these, new stadiums, which is like a prerequisite if you want to even have a professional franchise in your
Mhm.
state or whatever. These owners get literally every benefit. They just got like 4 years of Trump giving them tax breaks. Like these people, like their greed knows no limit, and it's disgusting. And like just for somebody like you said, Raz, we love sports. I love sports. Like we love like the actual sports, but when we get into the like the corporation business side of it, It's like
Mhm.
baseball's like its own literal separate entity than like the MLB. The MLB, like it just sucks. But yeah, I don't know if you guys like I don't know if there was like any other takes you had on that Mikey it's on. But like we there like I would say this: if you had to pick a date where you think the season would actually start, what would be like your hand
Mm,
on the oven, your hand on the temperature, your hand on the thermostat feel for that?
I'm gonna say May 10th.
Yeah, it's funny because
I think it's
my birthday is May 8th, and I've said that I'll take the over on baseball starting before my birthday.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It seems bleak. I did see someone that was, I feel like some league source or some reporter was pretty optimistic. Said basically like, I think they're gonna take a break, whatever, come back together, and I think they'll get an agreement struck in a couple weeks. I fucking doubt it. I will say, my homie Zach Hayes wrote something at Baseball Prospectus, an article called "The Commissioner Was Never Neutral and Never Will Be," and it's really interesting if you look at the origins of the commissioner and consider what his role was back then and what his role is now. And like you said, he like it's not only like I don't know so much about the NFL commissioner, but he really is supposed to be like a human meat shield, as you so eloquently put it. So it's like this isn't a coincidence. So I mean, I think the better hot takey article title is "Abolish the Commissioner," which I think we should do. It's just obviously not going to
Just eat
happen.
the rich. Just eat the rich.
Yeah,
That's
eat
you
the
just gotta
rich.
get you just gotta
Eat the
get rid
rich.
of all of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, enough of this depressing ass topic. Let's talk about some baseball. So yeah, for the people that actually want to hear about baseball. So yeah, man. Raz, I guess let's start off on we were so Raz doesn't fall asleep while we're talking baseball. Let's let's get let's talk about the Mets for a second, Mike. Obviously, I wanted to do, I have it on the rundown, just like a pre-lockout transaction that went under the radar. So, but before we do get to that, at least what was your takeaways on Steve Cohen opening up the piggy bank and reaching reaching into his piggy bank for Scherzer, Starling Marte, my guy Mark Canha. I'm forgetting somebody. I think I am. Eduardo
Oh,
Escobar. Yeah, too. Um,
do you say Starling Marte?
yeah, Starling Marte, Eduardo
Okay.
Escobar. There's a couple. But yeah, what was your takeaway on just how the Mets their their off season and just how the team's coming apart coming along at least before the next rash of transactions happened before the actual lockout is lifted, obviously. Oh, it's for you, Mike. You good before Raz get in?
Oh shit.
Not
I
not
was
yeah.
like,
What do you think about the Mets offseason? For you at least.
let's see. I mean, so the first thing is like good on the Mets because at least off the top of my head, I can't think of any huge prospects that they have coming up that are going to be making waves.
This year, no.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so I think any good baseball team should be able to develop and identify talent, but they also should be able to go out and sign people. Um, Max Scherzer's a pretty perfect fit for them. I mean, they did give him a lot of money, like a lot of money. Um, oh, there goes Raz. But as it pertains to just their roster for the next year or two, I think that sets them up pretty well. Like, they have spent before. They have James McCann. Roster Resource has him in the 9 hole. And that was like a big acquisition.
It was
So
really good. Like what was that, 2019, 2018, 2019, 2019,
I
yeah.
think 2019, yeah.
Yeah. These years.
So I don't know what, like Jeff McNeil. I don't know if he's actually broken. I don't know what Robinson Cano is going to look like this upcoming year. But in terms of how their roster is looking for next year, like they have a super good bullpen. They have 1 through 9. Their lineup is strong, and then They have 2 of the best starting pitchers in MLB. So I think this is one of the most fun rosters in baseball, at least for 2022. They have a lot of underrated guys. So I'm about it. I would like to see the Mets win, not only for Raz, but but I just in general I've always like I thought the Cano Kelenic trade was a terrible trade, obviously.
The second it happened, it was bad.
Yeah. But I think it did
No,
set
you
them up
gotta
pretty
you
well.
gotta think about it this way, because
No,
that trade
no,
wasn't
there's no
no,
thinking
no,
about
no.
it. There's no.
No, I'm not. Listen to what I'm saying. Trade for
Okay.
Cano, no, that contract's awful.
Yeah.
But I would have been able to stomach it if the closer we got was a closer. So
No,
if he
no,
no, I understand what you're saying, but I'm talking about. Listen to me. With those blown saves in those past 2 years, though, the amount of saves that he blew, the Mets were winning that division. Like, it's not even like you just have to look at the numbers that way. If he would have saved, he didn't even have to save half of them. All he had to save was a fourth of them fucking saves, and the Mets would have won the division. So it's like when you look at it, literally just at that. Like, yes, we gave up a prospect we probably should have kept, but if that motherfucker saves them games, the Mets are playoff bound, and at that point, anything happens.
Yeah, man. It's just like this is a process over results thing. And like yeah, and that's the funny thing is Edward Diaz is super Jekyll and Hyde, and it's funny because I'm in the middle of this TGFBI slow draft, and I'm just like, do I really want the Edwin Diaz experience on my team right now? And I'm just like, no, I'm all right.
Yeah.
I'm good on it, man. I don't need that, like my blood pressure going up when he comes in the ninth inning. Like I'll watch from afar on that one. But yeah, man, I think like that Kelenic trade, the worst part of it's not even the trade. It's just like Brody Van Wagenen, the fact that like he was Cano's former agent and the guy that pulled that trade off. It was just like, it's just like, bro, like that was the best you could have done. And I guess it just does come back to just that mediocrity and people getting chances, that opportunities in fields that did they really deserve it? Because like I can understand like taking a swing, and sometimes you gotta take a shot, you know what I'm saying? But like geez, at least make it a good one. But Raz, how are you feeling overall about that Met team coming in, bro? Like, what else? Like, talk your shit while the floor is yours, bro.
I mean, I would be a fool to be optimistic, right?
Oh, I mean, but you gonna do it anyway.
I mean, let's think about it right now. We got 2 of the best pitchers in the rotation, right? Check. As long as everybody's healthy, God bless, right?
God bless.
Yeah, God bless is the key word there. We increased depth in the lineup. We in theory have some people that can get on base. You hope, right? Outfield was a key position that we needed to increase on the defensive end. They went and made some signings there. I still feel like we should probably shore up the middle of the infield, but what do I know? I'm a casual fan. I'm a, like you said, that nigga's nice baseball kind of watcher. We do need to work on that middle of the infield. I mean, Lindor had a historically down year for him.
I think he'll be up next year. I think he'll be up. He's still good to not.
Yeah. I think he bounces back. I think that first year in a big new market, new contract, whatever. I'm calling it a mulligan like that. This, whatever. I gotta pray to God at this point because we really did give him all the money in the world. I do think whenever these games are played, the Mets will be very competitive. I think the issue currently is that the NL East is very good. Let's get it out of the way. Like the NL East is much better than I remember growing up. Other than, those monsters that you had in Atlanta. Like my grandfather, rest his soul, was a Braves fan. So that was torment that I dealt with as a child. Directly
TNT
from the hands.
Games, man. Them TNT games.
Chipper Jones
TBS games, bro.
Yeah, Chipper Jones and Andrew Jones, I have nightmares about those boys. But I think it's one of those things where it's like, cool. I think like this is going to be a very competitive division. I do think the Mets have enough talent to win it. But I've said that probably 7 times in the last couple of years, since the Mets started fielding major league teams, because you got to understand, from 2006, after 2006 till about 2014, we was fielding minor leagues. I could have played for the Mets while I was in high school, so it was just like one of those things where it's like,
Shout out to Lastings Millage, though. That was a guy.
Whatever, dog.
No.
Yeah, like fuck Ike Davis, or fuck those guys, B. But
like Davis, bro.
That's what Jason Bay, look. I think the Mets have a good roster. I've said this before, and I just don't. It's just like I don't want to have the hope, but it's like when you're fielding those two arms, you have a shot, and I think the biggest question I'll have obviously is bullpen, and then who emerges as that third guy. That's going to be a reliable starter. I think, especially in a playoff setting where people are pitching on short rest, your 4 and 5 guys, they just have to be serviceable when you're backing out, DeGrom and that other cat. So I hope once the season gets off, maybe they delay it a little bit longer. My guys can stay healthy. They don't have to play as long, and we get a short season run, which I thought was going to happen during COVID. And we stunk that shit the fuck up too. So, I'm happy with the roster, but I've been thrilled before, so I need to see it on the field at this point. The Mets won't fool me twice. And twice is obviously liberal. It's been billions of times.
but Mike, you can co-sign this because it's just a universal that everybody knows. Like, even as a Yankee fan, I can say that Yankee fans are just a horrible fan base and terrible people in general. So I mean, you guys can like bond. We can all bond with that because I also hate Yankee fans, even as one. But going from one of you guys' favorite teams to your favorite team, Mikey, and I always love talking. Because I just want to talk Mariners with you real quick, bro, because we got to talk about it. One of my favorite farm systems in the game. How are you feeling about your team heading into whenever the hell this is about to start? Love, shout out to George Kirby, shout out to Julio Rodriguez, Noel V. Like, the farm system is stacked. I'm a fan. Also, shout out to Abraham Toro. I'm buying him every this year.
Let's go.
I'm buying. How are you feeling about the Mariners, just the organization in general, preseason for you?
Yeah. There's a lot of work left to do is a thing. And if I had the confidence that were going to, make the necessary moves, I would feel a little better. I don't have that that confidence.
That's why there's a lockout, bro. You probably shouldn't.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like Toro, love Toro. I think he's one of my breakout guys this year. But I don't think that you give him the starting job at third base. They the AL West is good. Like the Rangers just went out and got Marcus Semien and Corey Seager and I think a pitcher. I don't even remember. Yeah. And so the Mariners, they got Robbie Ray, they got Adam Frazier, which is cool. But I don't want roster resource has as a top 3 JP Crawford leading off. I don't love that. Adam Frazier in the 2-hole, that's where your Mike Trout goes. No thanks. Mitch Haniger. Mitch Haniger's good. Yeah. So I don't know. I feel good. The thing is about the Mariners, they don't have a star. The closest thing that they have to a star is Robbie Ray, who was a AL Cy Young pitcher, but I would call him well short of
volatile.
Possibly. Yeah, and that too. So there's different approaches to build a good team. It's clearly not going to be the stars and scrubs approach. I think that they're going to need to make at least 2 significant additions on the hitting side. And then probably, it sounds like they're probably going to add a more back-end starter like Tyler Anderson. But they could feasibly do what they did last season just because their bullpen is so damn good again. Like they lost Sean Doolittle, might be it, and they're getting back Ken Giles, who is one of the best closers
Yep.
of the 2010s.
Sneaky value this
Andres
year.
Munoz, yeah. And I think that Johan Ramirez is a breakout candidate. And, Paul Sewald, Diogo Castillo, Casey Sadler, like that bullpen's good.
Yeah, Munoz is one of those. Like, it's funny because like the Padres are my other team I follow other than the Yankees. But yeah, they kind of just like, I feel like they like create a lab those like 100 miles per hour relief pitchers like every couple years. But yeah, even like shout out to like I'm also a huge Ty France guy in general.
Yeah.
But I wanted to talk about Julio Rodriguez with you because obviously especially when we talk about like prospects and when and especially when it comes to these young, whether it's high schoolers or the international free agent guys that have been around. So it's like it's not, because I feel like we're all excited for Julio Rodriguez. So it's not prospect fatigue, but he's been a name that's been on the top 100 for a minute, and he's on the precipice of making his debut, possibly this year. But how good do you think he can be? Like just talking about just the skills and what he's done, like just absolutely just crushing the minors at like every level, to be honest.
I think the comp that I like for him on just in pure, in the batter's box terms is Nelson Cruz. And I think it's really tough to slap comps on players because it's fucking hard to be a good baseball player and to have that kind of pressure as a
Takes time. Yeah, it takes time.
yeah. But I think that he's a guy that can, OPS around, I don't know, 900, 1,000, like be one of the best hitters in MLB. He does have concerns to me. I mean, I've seen prospects writers talk about how his mechanics are pretty advanced at times, which is obviously a plus. The issues have been, swing and miss a little bit. Like the hit tools, it's not like a 60, 70 grade hit tool. And sometimes he hits the ball on the ground. Probably a little too much. But in terms of just my confidence in him as a prospect, it's about as high as Jared Kelenic, who, I also don't really have concerns about, even though Kelenic was one of the worst debut hitters ever. So yeah, I mean, he slimmed down enough to where, and like he's lean enough to where they're talking about him playing in center. So I think that should be the Mariners' plan, within a couple months of the season starting, of him starting most days in center field. He can obviously run a little bit because he can play in center field, and I think he'll hit right away. I think he'll right off the bat be an above average hitter. If we're talking in terms of like WRC plus and like 110, 115. So probably like kind of a low average to start. A lot of dingers, a lot of doubles.
Yeah, I've had him on a dynasty team for so many years. Like it feels like forever. Like at least like what was it, like 2018? I think I got him in one of those leagues. So been a minute. So yeah, it's like super excited about him making his debut. But yeah, man, like I said, Mike, you're one of my favorite writers to read, just in terms of like especially the work you do. Shout out to Pitcher List, shout out to Fast, Nick Pollock, all those guys over there. So many great people on the Pitcher List team. But yeah, so you're like I love how you break down and you get into the nitty gritty when it comes to these pitching, and even like I need your reliever sleepers this year, because especially like when it comes to fantasy, like it's so hard for me to take a. It's so hard. It's just I still don't want to. I just can't get jiggy with taking the closure like in the first four rounds. Like, I'm not doing it, guys. I'm sorry. I'm finding my saves later. So I'm gonna need your sleepers for the relievers this year, because yeah, man, like even like I know, like I remember watching, I forgot what the tweet was like. I think you wrote something, or you were tweeting about like Kendall Graveman out of nowhere, and I'm like, wait, when the hell Kendall Graveman start throwing like 98? Like, did I
Yeah,
miss what the hell did I miss here?
he's the man.
So like, yeah, so like, I want for you at least. I know you've done at least some of the I was checking out some of the your recent pieces you've done a lot of some interesting write-ups you've had recently. I know one guy I'm super interested on, just in terms of I think where he's going in drafts this year. A lot of upside, somebody who I think he's super athletic, and has the tools and the athleticism to really, as a pitcher at least, take that next step. Josiah Gray is somebody who I need. Like, how are you feeling about him this year? I'm super high on him. Yeah, a couple guys. So how do you feel about Josiah? That article you wrote was really good. So like, just in terms of like your outlook for him this year, like, how are you feeling about that and the adjustments and what he needs to get to that next level?
Yeah. So in terms of, one way that you can forecast a breakout is just taking like the easiest way to be good as a pitcher is to be unique. So sometimes that's throwing over the top, that's throwing sidearm. Sometimes it's that makes your pitches,
Yeah,
move
deception. Yeah, yep.
different. Yeah. Um, Josiah Gray is unique in that he has kind of that drop and drive, kind of mechanics where more extreme than I've ever seen before. When he uses his back leg to drive towards the plate, once he is like, once he's getting his foot turned and he's like uncoiling, he almost like inches away from dropping his knee on the mound. So his shin is basically against the mound. And one kind of hot, I guess, statistic or metric that has been coming out lately, in the past year ish, is vertical approach angle, which is essentially what angle does the ball vertically enter the zone at. And so for fastballs, if it is flat, it makes it hard to barrel up. Those are the fastballs that look like they're rising. Um, Josiah Gray has a really flat fastball, a really flat vertical approach angle, but he achieves it in a way that is different from other pitchers. It's not like Paul Sewald where he's throwing from a really low arm slot. He's achieving it by dropping down, and that's how his release point is achieved, is not so much in his arm but in his lower half. And so by vertical approach angle, he does grade out really well. But when you look at his fastball shape, his pitch characteristics, it's a little more stock is what I call it, or generic, which isn't necessarily good. I really like Josiah Gray. I think the way that he achieves, um, a breakout is by throwing his slider and curveball a lot, and staying away from his fastball as much as he can. Uh, Theoretically, and it's hard to tell a pitcher to make certain adjustments, but if he gets away from, the farther he gets away from a 3/4, arm slot, the better his fastball will be, because his characteristics are decent other than
Oh,
his
yeah.
arm slot, and like spin direction. But his slider and curveball are already good. So I might just say, yo, throw those 60-70% of the time. Try to throw your fastball less. So I'm a big fan. I really like his secondaries. I really like him. And I mean, it's always cool to see, black baseball players shining. So, yeah, I'm pretty high on him.
Yeah, shout out to Josiah, man. It's a pretty good combination of just like stuff and athleticism, man. I think he's also like, especially when we talk about just his secondary stuff, like as he just came through the Dodger system, at least, like you saw, yeah, he was originally Reds, right? Yeah, Reds had a piece of him.
Yeah.
So yeah, but you saw the improvement on his secondary stuff and the development like path that he's on. Yeah, super high on Josiah Gray. So who else do you have on your breakout pitcher guys who, going outside like the top 100 that could really like, and like I said, these guys, that's why like even I know I spoke about this in the past before, just in terms of like strategy, and this is why like fantasy baseball, the game and the jigsaw puzzle, and putting it all together for one. There's there's literally a trillion ways to build a really good fantasy roster, and there's no one right way. And like I, at least for my TGFBI team right now, like I took 3 outfielders in a row. I wouldn't advise that for anybody else. It's not really, it's probably not a great idea. But I started off with I went Harper, Starlin Marte, and Aaron Judge. I really couldn't pass up on it. But just the statistical like start that I'm getting right there, like if they hit right there, like it's just, especially for Roto. I love the upside that I started off with that team at least. But yeah, for you at least, like what guys do you look at that could really be possible potential league winners and could really return a lot of value in fantasy leagues pitcher wise this year?
League winners. Let's see. So I'm obviously partial to guys that I've written about, partially in part, I write about guys I by the end don't end up liking as much, but for the most part, I write about them because they're weird and they're interesting and they're good. I don't know if Tyler Malley counts, but he's someone that I've been kind of championing for about a year or two, because it's always interesting. Guys are always interesting when
Think there's another level.
Yeah, like his like when you have a fastball that good, that's a good ass foundation. A fastball that's strong with plus command is, this guy's kind of the limit. The thing for him is he doesn't have very, I guess, elite secondaries. So as long as his fastball characteristics hold, I do think there is, kind of another level with his secondary. So optimizing, what he doesn't currently have, because he can lean on that fastball, more than most guys can. Shane Baz is someone who I think is going to be an ace. And I don't use that word lightly. I think he'll be a top 10, top 15 pitcher. It's kind of the same ish thing. His fastball is just so good, but he also, I wrote an article comping him to Garrett Cole. They share a lot of their arsenals are almost identical. So Shane Baz, I think is going to be, he's a more kind of obvious one, but he really, took a step up by just throwing in the zone more, throwing more strikes. And when you have stuff that's that good, you can just say like, here it is, like do something with it. And I think he's one of those guys. I can just keep rattling.
I think, no, feel free. Like I love the inside is incredible. The funny thing is Tyler Malley reminds me of like good Nick Pavetta. Like just I don't even. It's just like a feeling I have. It's not even like actual like a comparison between the two, but just like stuff wise and the potential. Like I would look. Like I think I know like somebody else who obviously like Great American Ballpark is just a. It's not fun for your pitchers, but yeah, his stuff and the fastball, like you said, is incredible. Also the piece you wrote on Zach Gallen I was also reading that one. Do you like? And I think it's like I forgot where he was being drafted last year, but I know it was much higher than it was this year. So are you buying back on Zach Gallen this year upside?
I feel like most people really like Zach Gallen. The thing is, like, when you zoom out, you see a guy with, I forget if it's 4 or 5 pitches, but plus command, solid fastball. Like I think he throws 94, probably 94. And like 4 or 5 pitches that he commands pretty well. And when you say it like that, it's like this guy's an ace. This guy's the best pitcher in MLB, but that hasn't been the case. I think I think he's definitely got another level. Like I wrote in that piece, the D-backs got Brent Strom, and what I think that means for Zach Gallen is hopefully he's able to get away from his fastball and throw some of his secondaries, which are sick. There's a concept that Brent Strom calls creating room. And right now, Zach Gallen is one of the best pitchers at throwing strikes with his fastball at the bottom of the zone. He nets a lot of called strikes. And that's, as kind of an aside, when it comes to vertical approach angle, which Zach Gallen has a good vertical approach angle. If you throw it to the top of the zone, that's where you get whiffs. When you throw it to the bottom of the zone, the flat fastballs have a pretty uncanny ability to get hitters to take. And so he's done a good job of that. But because he pretty much just throws to the bottom of the zone with his fastball and secondaries beneath the zone, I don't think his secondaries are playing as well as they could. So what I think Brent Strom is going to do is kind of have him throw more cutters, more fastballs up in the zone. And that's going to make him more unpredictable to hit. Because right now, hitters basically can look to the bottom of the zone and they can say, okay, is this a fastball? If it's not a fastball, I'm not going to swing. But the more that you fold in an approach, it's like it's simple. Like it's changing eye levels. The more that you fold in an approach where you're throwing upstairs, even if it's, only a couple pitches, the more hitters have to look, at it's just deception, So I really, really, really love Zach Gallen. He's pretty fun to watch too.
Yeah, that's somebody who I've definitely like. I think there's a lot of value there, and I think like sometimes you gotta watch out with just the market and how the market, whether it's like a little disappointing year, and I wouldn't even say he had a. He had a 4.3 ERA. I wouldn't say it was in his best season, especially before the year before. But a lot of the underlying metrics for him, you could kind of look at it and see, just some positive regression for him on that side. So, all right. So who do we have in the bag for the relievers this year? Like I said, I need the late round sleepers, because you can pull them out of the bag, and out of nowhere. So, like, who are you looking at this year of returning some good value on the reliever side for saves though?
The number one pitcher that I would say is Michael Givens. And I wrote an article about him. But the thing is, I kind of,
Did he sign? Where is he at?
He hasn't signed yet.
Okay.
But I made the argument that he could be this year's Paul Sewald. Sorry, Raz. He could be this year's, free agency's Paul Sewald. And it's kind of the same thing. They have similar repertoires. He throws out of a really low slot, a really, really unique arm slot. The fastball is really flat and he throws it hard, and the slider is a wipeout slider. So, he could be, whether it's by luck or whatever, I honestly think he could be a top 5-7 closer this year. Does he get that opportunity? I don't know, especially because I think part of it is, can he
on the Orioles?
Can he fade the changeup? So, that's one. I already name dropped him, but Johan Ramirez. And again, like it's kind of the same thing. He throws out of a pretty much identical. Well, I don't know about identical, but he throws out of a similar arm slot as Paul Sewald, and his pitches move basically the same. The difference is that he has trouble getting the ball in the zone. But it's electric. So yeah, he's another guy.
Yeah, no, those are really good names. But before we do lose the interest of Raz on this conversation, I'm gonna before we do end on like some more I suppose just like industry talk for the end. We'll save that for the end. But
Mhm.
I wanted to one thing, because I know we get into like, and it's funny because like I said, one thing we talk like I'm for me, for my Twitter account at least, like it's for me, like, and I feel like the way like us younger people might use, we're around the same age, I guess. I don't even know how old you are, Mike. I just feel like we're in the same bracket, whatever. But like the way we use our Twitter accounts, a lot of it is just like random streams of consciousness, whatever pops in your head, like expression, and like for me at least, and we get into this, and shout out to TGFBI and for I think for the networking platform and the way to interact with a lot of guys in the fantasy baseball industry. I think it is a great tool on that part. Now, when it comes into like interacting with a lot of people and in the space, and obviously you wrote an article about how in baseball, like in general, so many like so many other industries is a really cishet male white industry dominated by that. So when you get into that and just like expressing yourself and like having like that's one thing that I struggle with, at least. Like I don't really give a fuck at the end of the day, but like the thoughts do go through my head where it's just like sometimes like I'm not gonna say any names.
That's the
Fighting the
best
urge,
part.
that was I don't know if you guys caught that right there, but I was literally me fighting the urge to be petty. I'm not going to say any names, but there's some of
Oh
those
man,
like
come on.
blue check mark Twitter accounts like followed me for a couple weeks, then follow me, and I'm just like, what did I do to you? I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything. But yeah, man. So it's just like how did you like whatever it's like the discomfort about the way we talk about things and just finding being unapologetic, which is like the thing that I love about you the most. Like, what is it about well, actually, we're saving that for the end. I said, what I wanted to get to is so like we're talking about like music and things of that nature. So, and I think we touched on it to where it's just like Raz might laugh at me, but like I know this is one thing that me and you do share, Mikey, to where it's just like I put it on the rundown. I don't know if Raz looked, but about like albums that like really like albums that hold like sentimental value for you, that was like a very important like important album. So it's like yo, that album got me through a hard time in life. So it's just like I mentioned it to her. It's like yo, that first Kid Cudi album, bro, Man on the Moon. And I'm not even like I'm like it's funny because I just that 1 year of my life was probably like the worst year of my life when that album dropped. Like I remember going to Target with
Mhm.
my mom to pick up that Man on the Moon album. So it's just like, and I'm not even like me personally, like
Damn.
I love those first like Cuddy projects. And they'll always hold a special place in my heart. Not so much the new stuff for me at least, but like I still like I can't like he's a legend in my book just for the early stuff. But
Mhm.
like what other albums for you like hold that like sentimental value towards just like because music is a beautiful thing and it's a powerful drug, and it's just like sometimes you don't know where we'd be without the music. So Raz, we'll get your answer on that so you can think about what albums like really hold a special place in your heart. But for you at least, Mikey, what other music like really, and we talk about like even like the blog days, and I forgot like shout out to I think I know we was talking about like Cold Quarter 2 one day and just like how much of a classic it is. And that's when
Oh.
I was like, yo, I love Mikey, bro. That's my fucking guy, bro. But what else for you at least? Like just
Oh
albums
man.
that hold that special part for you.
Yo, that era of Lloyd Banks makes me think of like high school wrestling so damn much. I would like
Raz, I don't
I'd
think he was ready
always
for that. I think Raz knew that he was ready.
No, this is a welcomed surprise.
Don't
t-
judge a
t-
book by its cover, bro. That's what we
I
drinking,
didn't.
bro.
I didn't judge a damn
No,
thing.
just don't do it.
I had
I'm saying
no.
it. I'm saying it in
Now
general. I'm
some
saying it in
some
general.
some books need to
Okay,
be
yeah,
judged by
agreed.
their
I agree.
cover, and they don't need to be read. But Mikey, you you were not judged. And
appreciate
now
it.
you talk Cold Corner too. So let's continue. Sorry to
Let's
step
get
on
it.
your lead. Yeah.
No, you're good. Yeah, man. I remember just warming up to like make it stack. And some of those beats are just so hard, you know?
Yes.
Um oh man, like what was it? Hunger for More 2 came out the year before that.
Oh man, this
And
classics.
what's it called?
My.
I think he was doing something called Blue Friday or something like that.
Yeah,
Have
where
y'all
he would
heard
drop
Finish
on. Yeah,
Line?
after the Kanye's. Yes, yes,
Finish
yes.
Line is one of my favorite songs of all time. Yeah, one of my older brothers, growing up like on MySpace, he loved Lloyd Banks, and he just like he had a picture like I think and it's about me or something like that. And so I was always kind of, man, y'all can't judge me for this, but
No, never. Just for you. This
when
is
I
just for
was
you.
when I was in elementary school, so my favorite rapper was 50 Cent, and I fucking loved G Unit. I used to wear
This
G
is
Unit
Raz of
clothes.
Southside, Raz of Queens guys. So like we
Okay.
co-sign all of this.
Yeah, I used to wear G Unit clothes.
Oh, bro, I had the
Uh,
sneakers. I had the sneakers, the G Unit sneakers. I remember what was it like third grade? You couldn't tell me I wasn't the flyest nigga in the world that day when I had them joints on.
yeah,
You could not tell
and
me.
what's that game called? The 50 Cent game.
For Bulletproof.
I forgot about
There's
Or
it.
two.
Bullet.
There's two. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
forgot
about
Oh
the
man,
game, bro.
that
I
game
did
was
not
my
get the
shit.
game.
It was a little racist. It was a little. There was one of them. It was like Blood in the Storm or something like that. It was a
Yeah,
little
Bug
like
Sen, Bug Sen,
anti-Middle
I think.
Eastern. Yeah. It was a little weird, but man, that game was my shit growing up. But
I don't think I ever played that game, bro.
No, it definitely skipped the game part. So I skipped the game part.
I
And
was
I
on
skipped the
PS3 too. I
sneakers.
was like, yeah, I definitely did not play
Yeah,
that.
I had a tank top, unfortunately, but everything else I got. I feel like I was old enough to when Reebok did a deal with a psycho, to where Reeboks weren't cool anymore. So I didn't get to like I feel like I was in like junior high at this point. So like the jokes were real. So you really had to come correct. But I understand where you're coming from. Like I get it.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, I wore some wild shit in elementary school, but yeah, man, Lloyd Banks has like a super special place in my heart. Just like kind of reminds me of my brother or whatever, and I just, he's PLK, man.
This is true. This is facts.
Yeah.
can't argue such things, no.
Yeah. I feel like we're probably partial to Tribe here. Yeah.
Oh yes, of course. You can't the tribe stuff, like especially I used to go by
We're going down a rabbit hole. I didn't think we was going down tonight. So let me stretch.
No, I used to go by the mural. That used to be on Linden, right?
It's still over there. The Fife
still
dog
over
on
there.
this. It's still over there.
Yeah, man. Like I remember I saw
on the boulevard of Linden.
Yeah. I saw who did I see down there? I seen
It's over by the funeral home. Off by what's that? Gilmore's?
Yeah. No, that's a good call too on the tribe. What album though?
Ooh, I feel like, oh man, Low End Theory.
Yeah, Low End Theory.
Yeah,
I'm a Midnight Marauders, but yeah, that
right.
Low End Theory into Midnight Marauders, like you talk about like the classic, like you just dropping like great albums and like back to back, like that's one of those like sequences. Like woof,
Yeah,
they was in their bag on that.
Yeah. It reminds me a ton of like middle school and high school, and I don't know, my a lot of my music, that I listened to growing up, like a couple of my older brothers, they were putting me on shit like I don't know, like Blink-182, which again, unapologetically,
Shout out to them.
Yeah, I love them. It's different. It's just different. Yeah. But yeah, I think Low End Theory is mine. It's like it's so nostalgic for me. It's wild.
What about you, Rex?
So are we? I feel like we went through like 3 different places. So I guess to say the one album, I say this often and people laugh at me, son. But like,
what you want to say?
nah, because I like. Because we spoke about like albums that changed our life or whatever, that got us through a dark time, and then we went into some stuff that's like just like nostalgic, right? Like Friday Night Lights as a project, I tell this story all the time. Like that shit might have saved my life. Like things were getting hectic at that point, and it came out like what's that, 2010, fall of 2010. So that's my freshman year of college. So stuff was in shambles at that point. Like there was like some stuff we had to figure out for sure. So like that project was up there. And then like if you go to like just nostalgia purposes, like um a lot of LL Cool J stuff is nostalgic for me just because of like my pops used to bump that shit. So like his first album, like his first two albums is on there, and then I start getting into the weeds, like a lot of Scarface, a lot of those rappers are just like rappers that like used to come through my speakers. And then my cousin, had this big cousin. He lived in South Carolina, whatever, and I used to ride in the caddy with him. He about 10 years older than me, so you gotta think I'm about 10, he's about 20. This is like the early 2000s. A lot of Jeezy was played. Like a lot of Jeezy was played. So, like those first two Jeezy albums, like you can't tell me nothing about that. Yeah, like those two albums, I
the third one too, bro. The third one,
the third one's good too.
Don't disrespect Recession like that.
I'm just saying his first 3 albums were great, but I'm telling you, the first two I know front to back, no skips. Like,
yeah,
I'm even on mixtape Jeezy. Like that's how deep the rabbit hole goes with me. So.
Yo, they're gonna play And Then What and Soul Survivor at my funeral.
Nah, bro. Every time I go down south, even when we was in LA, Sean, they played they had a Jeezy set, and they played that Bottom of the Map.
Hide the rest of the yam from the auntie house.
Yo, listen, man. He says Young Jizzle from the bottom of the map. That's it. 80 count strip crip at the bottom of the strap. Hey, and I'm like, yeah, okay. I felt right at home. That A makes you feel like you're family with me. It's that but yeah, Jeezy, man. So what about you, Sean?
Yo, man, like, and it's funny, Raz, like. I don't know if you're a huge Cole guy or not, Mikey, but like no, yeah, you're. I got slander Cole now, but yeah, the early stuff, Raz, like literally, like
the slander is ridiculous, man. I mean, he's fighting back. He's fighting back.
I like Cole. Cole's a great guy. Like I don't really have a problem with Cole. Like not even to get on that, but no, yeah, like the warm up, bro. Like that's one of those moments. Like I don't know, like the first time like I heard Lights Please, like that's like a goosebumps moment, bro. Like you like,
oh my god,
like what is
yeah?
It's like what is this? It's like damn.
See, the song for that on me is I get up. When I hear I get up off that shit, I'm just like
the whole tape.
Yeah, those Lucy's. The Black Arrow was just incredible.
Forest Hills is where I stopped. That's where I stopped.
Yeah.
Forest Hills, but that's what most like. If people that fell off, they say Forest Hills Drive was his last good one. But like, I wasn't a fan of KOD. But I'll say, what's that shit? For Your Eyes Only. As I've gotten older, is a much better album than I gave it credit for when it first came out, and the off season to me was great. So I have no complaints, but I think with I don't know, if not even trying to say on some like pompous shit, go back and listen to it as an adult, but like for Your Eyes Only it was like super introspective and at a time when most of the music that was coming out wasn't. So we was doing a lot of ridiculous shit when For Your Eyes Only, and nobody was trying to hear that shit. Like that shorty said on Twitter, she wasn't trying to hear Cole on Friday night, but
on a Friday,
yeah. but that For Your Eyes Only, I don't know if I'll bump it straight through, but as I've gotten older, like that shit is a much better album.
All right, that's enough Cole talk for today. But what album? No, what like I say this before, but like even a little. I don't know. Have you guys watched the Kanye documentary? I don't know.
I only saw the first part.
It's incredible. I'm sorry. Like
that's why I hear. That's why I hear.
It's incredible, bro. Like even like just as like a as an aside, like obviously like separating the artist from separating the artist from the narcissist.
I'm tired of doing that.
Yeah. At some point,
somebody gotta own up to their crimes, man.
Like, I don't blame you, but like
I'm not even here to cape for the white woman, but what he's doing right now is crazy.
No, but I just feel like, bro, like we can't rewrite history to us. Just like we talk about we talk about like literally like College Dropout was like a record scratch like in time for me at least. Like
Yeah.
when it's really like one of those first albums to where like I remember I had like my little bum ass Nokia, and I remember being so excited to buy like the School Spirit ringtone. Like it was ringtone era. Like
Yeah.
that's what we're talking. Yeah, we talking ringtone era on the pile. We haven't even. Yeah, this is a rabbit hole I don't think we felt on before, which is just like like incredible. But yeah, that I also gotta say shout out to for at least like high school days, Raz, like albums that just like I like spun from like front to back. Like I still bump this album like every time. If I take a road trip somewhere, I'm usually gonna bump this album. But like, yo, that like Purple Haze, Cam, and like Diplomatic Community run, bro. Like,
Mhm.
oh
My dad
man,
threw that mixtape out the car, bro. I was
wait, what?
so we used to. My mom used to have a
What?
Volvo XC90, right? So it was a fucking it was the SUV, and they had these little two
Oh
ports
man,
in the they had these two ports in the back where you could plug your headphones in and listen to different music than what's playing in the car.
Whoa.
So it was futuristic, I'm telling you. So I went to the barbershop, purchased Diplomatic Immunity. So how old am I? I can't be no older than
what Diplomatic Community came out like 2004, 2003?
yeah. So 12 maybe. I'm 12 years old at this point. So we bumping that on the way down to South Carolina. He switched over to see what we listening to.
2003. Yeah.
Yeah, he switched over to see what we listening to, and that shit went right out the window.
What song was it? What song did he hear, bro?
I couldn't tell you, bro. Like I just remember him hitting.
It couldn't have been I really
ejecto.
mean it, bro. It could not have been I really mean it, bro. That's
He hit ejecto on that shit and tossed some shits down I-95 South, bro. Like,
Oh shit.
so shout out.
That's an incredible story, bro. Oh my god. No, that's amazing, man. I'm sorry. The music conversation is just like giving me life more than the baseball talk right now. But so as long as we're like here, Michael, we'll get you out of here in a second. What was the first? That not as like that just triggered something in my mind. But like, what was that first album that you guys purchased? And like what you like that like the first one that you actually like you were still young, you had to get your mom or your parents to like get it for you.
Mine's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
Just free zone, bro.
Mine was.
Look, it just caught a body. Oh, what? I'm sorry.
What's that place called? Fry's Electronics in near Seattle. I went with my dad and I fucking bought the Eminem show. And like I'm pretty sure we were on the way home and I opened
it. At that time you was lit.
Yeah. And I opened it and the CD wasn't fucking in there. So my dad went back later. Yeah.
What?
But I did get a lot of run out of that CD. So that's mine.
What about you, Raz?
That's despicable.
It is despicable.
So I got fun fact. So I purchased Ghetto Fabulous. No, not Ghetto. Whatever Fab's first album is, and the Blueprint.
Yeah. That was 9/11 day.
Yeah, got it on 9. I got it the day after 9/11. You see how that could have been a thing. We're supposed to go get it on 9/11, but some peril happened. Not to say the least. Not to step on the lead, but we were in shambles as a city. Two great projects to come out on that day as well, which we overlook it obviously because of the tragedy, but the Blueprint, bro, like. And then the next one that I bought with my own money, bought it at Walmart, which means it was edited. I bought
so many memories are being brought back, right?
So all Walmart sold was edited shit, and I got Get Rich or Die Trying.
Yeah.
And
that's the worst album to have edited. I don't think that might have been the worst album to have edited.
No, my mom wouldn't let me get it anywhere else. I had to get it from someone else, and it's a stark difference for sure. Because because even like the Walmart version, like bleeped out like the gunshot. So it's a very, very important part.
It's a different album.
Very important part of the album. So
The Miniman intro is probably wild.
there's no intro, and it's
no
just
intro.
there's no intro.
Oh man,
It's just, hey man, you want to get something? I'm hungry as them, and that's it. And then the beat drop, bro. That's,
no way.
That's all that happens.
Nah,
So,
I got the edited jig once, bro. What album was that? I think it was the T.I. King album. I remember being so excited to get it, and I was like, "What is this edited shit that I'm listening to right now?" But now the first album that like I purchased, I remember, Raz, you know this, man. I think I was in the check cashing place with my mom, and it was definitely a bootleg.
It's a very Haitian story.
Yeah. I mean, check cashing places are staples in the hood, but we've all been there before. But neither here nor there. But now, yeah, that Ludacris chicken and beer for me, it's Luda was up there, man. You can't like that's Chris Bridges from Fast and Furious now, but like early 2000s Ludacris, bro, with the sideburns and the cornrows, bro. That's like legend status to this day, like still.
Yeah, I bought that T.I. album too, man. The second T.I. album.
Trap Music.
Trap Music, the second one.
Yeah.
What's the first one?
I'm serious.
Yeah, Trap Music was the.
Yeah.
Is that the one with what's it called? You Know Me?
You Don't Know Me's on Urban Legend. Yeah.
So what's ASAP on?
That's on Urban Legend. Yeah.
Now what the hell was on Trap Music? Rubber Band Man, no?
That's on Trap Music.
Yeah, that's on Trap. We gotta look. I gotta look up that trap list because that album.
So Trap Music has like 24s. That's that era.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm back with you.
Oh, okay.
All right, yeah. Very, very strong album. Shout out to it's so weird, man. Especially like I don't know what it is. Like we brought it up earlier. Like don't have idols, kids. Anybody who's younger, like don't look up to any of these musicians. It's like all of my favorite rappers when like I was younger. Like the worst part about getting older is like realizing it's just like all of my favorite artists, some of my favorite athletes, they're not great people. And like
I was gonna shout out Nas earlier.
Why didn't you?
Hennessy. Hey, Hennessy, connect, bro.
Why didn't you shout him out? What was the?
Because he's an abuser.
Oh, yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I will not neither. I don't know.
This is true. Nah, this is true.
Yeah,
this is true.
Khalees
put him out there. Khalees did put him out there, and like
these things are true. I hope he atones for these things. And
I will say, Just a Moment is top 10 song ever for me. So
last point on the music. Going back to the Eminem for a second, because I meant to say this earlier, but it's just no. It's just so funny to me, bro. Because like I don't know when I realized it to it, just like yeah, when we were like I don't know about you. I can't speak for you, Raz, but like when we were kids, it was like the appeal of like Eminem to like angsty young kids. Like I think that's like a part of like the whole like between that and being a white rapper, obviously, but like it just felt like rebelling against the cause, like listening to Eminem, like well, like looking back on it, I'm like, what the fuck was we listening to? Bro, I love my mom. Like, what am I listening to right now?
10-year-old me, I didn't have many problems with my mother.
Me neither.
And that Eminem,
that
Eminem, like I
making a diss track to your mom is wild, bro.
Yeah, I listened to it because it came on like some of the funny stuff, but I wasn't spinning a full Eminem album back then, and I'm still not. Just because it's just like
no.
I mean, now people, Eminem stands to this day. Like I got a man who's an Eminem stan, like I'm the best rapper to do it, and I'm like, bro, like you don't even drink Mountain Dew. Like, why is this a take that you have? Like, bro, like that's a real Monster Energy take. Like I don't like this. There's no reason for civilized humans to be banging with.
Woo. Oh man, it's been a great episode, man. Mikey, thank you so much for being just real generous with your time. So I guess we could finish here before we do wrap up. But I mean, like just for you at least, man, I think like just like ending on a industry thing for you? Because like I know like it like even I know like as far as like not competing in like industry leagues and things like that, but like just doing it to where like you're enjoying the content and you're not like getting into like the high school side of like these like subsections of Twitter, and it happens on MLB Twitter, NBA Twitter. It's also I'm gonna say this. It is the first day of March, and I'm gonna also give you your credit, Mikey, because I found that bracket extremely hilarious. I was laughing my ass off when I read that bracket, and then Raz, you don't know the story. But like he made a bracket of the worst white men in baseball. It was a great bracket because there's some just in baseball in general, and I'll speak for you, Mike.
As long as Tim Kirchin's not on it.
No.
We love Tim Kirchin.
We love Tim.
Just make sure we got to bring that home. I just
Yeah. No, Tim Kirchin is an angel in my eyes. But but yeah, like that was an incredible thing, and I'm just like you don't want to end up on that Summer Jam screen, Raz, and like they put my boy Mikey in a pack, and sometimes there's just nothing you could do. Like I hate to see it.
I was like getting canceled.
Who was the
I had to take it down.
We can talk about that on air. We can talk about who should have won off air. But
hey, I have a screen recording of the tournament, so I'll send it along.
But yeah, like what do you like? Where are you at on it? Because like you gotta especially like you gotta enjoy what you do as far as content wise, and like not fall into like the bullshit that comes with the clicking up of like some people in fantasy Twitter, and I say this because like me and Raz, like we make content, but I wouldn't say that like we're not in like any of these industries by any chance. Like as far as like the politics and like the ass kissing that goes on, like I see it all, and I don't really like there's a lot of like drama that I see going on. I'm like what? Like what the fuck are y'all doing over there? But where are you at, Mikey, on like just protecting your own like love of like of like what you're doing and like content wise, just like making it a space that at least you can enjoy.
Yeah. The first thing, like, I think about a lot. First of all, if you think about just like what's going on in your Twitter feed, there are so many just like little bubbles that we're all in, and like it's weird to think about. Like you could look at someone else's phone and it's a completely different environment.
Yeah.
And I often think about that and just think about how like none of this shit matters. Like I've made a lot of friends, and I've built up a lot of relationships. Like I've traveled like cities like across the US and visited people, and probably have some like lifelong relationships because of Twitter. But at the end of the day, that shit does not matter to me. And like,
Same.
I have a couple thousand followers, and like, I probably only like 100. Like, I'm not trying to hang out with even my following. It was 666 the other day. I don't know how many of those people I want to hang out with, so yeah, I think something that I've done recently to kind of keep myself sane, protect my mental health.
Got to.
Yeah. So first of all, especially now that I have something of a following, I don't let people who don't follow me. No, let's see. I have to follow people, I think, for them to reply. And then if people don't follow me, then I can't see I don't get their notifications.
Oh, that filter is strong too.
It is so fucking nice. So like every once in a while I'll come across, a tweet that I didn't see, and it's like someone that I'm like, oh, I wish I would have saw that. But most of the time it's like someone being a piece of shit that's like hating, and I'm like, oh, I'm glad I didn't see that, at least in the moment, because I get fucking mad. So yeah, I mean, I've tried to make it like something where I'm balancing. Like I want to, if I'm gonna be on Twitter, I want to enjoy it. So Sean, I love shit posting. It's maybe too much. And I get blowback because of that every here and there.
Gotta get the burner game up, bro. That's what I
Dude,
realized.
I've been thinking about it. Yeah,
Gotta get the burner game, man. KD was a visionary on that front.
So yeah, just like protect myself, and I've just been curating the shit out of my experience. So I'm pretty liberally just muting words, muting accounts, blocking people, just like I don't have to have a bad time on Twitter. So yeah, I mean, as it pertains to the industry, I am no longer interested in like watering my values or my beliefs down, and I feel like I'm a flawed person, but for the most part, I have a good heart, and I think I am more thoughtful about things than a lot of people are. I don't know. A lot of the things that I believe in are considered radical, and I don't think that they are.
Yep.
So any space that you're in, you're gonna have some establishment ass, like moderate ass people, and I just
especially in times like,
time.
I'm sorry, Mikey, but especially like in times
You're
like
good.
this where like things are so like we're especially like when you're adults and like you're like a functioning like adult, bro. Like there should be some like discernment and about what's right and wrong and morally, ethically, like all of that. So it's just like, especially like people want to play like the apolitical game, and it's just like it's a form of cowardice at the end of the day. To where it's just like, especially like to where it's just like sometimes I have those social like, damn, I'd be like filtering myself or biting my tongue. It's like, no, fuck that, like fuck that.
Being apolitical, being neutral about anything is a fucking privilege. So I don't want to surround myself with any of those. I don't talk about politics. I'm here for the sports. You can go fuck yourself. So, man, since I've created those filters, since I've really curated my timeline and just like stopped fucking with those people, because at the end of the day, people who are neutral, it's like that fucking quote. It's like if you're neutral in situations of injustice or whatever, you're an oppressor or something like that. I forgot exactly what it is. But you're supporting the status quo if you're being neutral or you're being apolitical or whatever. And I do not fuck with that. I carry radical, energy with me. So, yeah, I just really don't have the time anymore to deal with that shit. I just want to surround myself with people who are already about it, and I don't like. I just, and one of the biggest things for me now is like I don't want to have anything to do with like white people who are. I should just stop there. Yeah.
Sorry, white people.
Who get triggered by like
draft season podcast.
But who get triggered by like whiteness, it's so wild. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like in general that like people who are triggered by the dominant, social identities that they hold. Like I understand, like for me, I hold a lot of social, dominant identities. People are just like not intersectional, and they don't want to I basically admit that they are part of the status quo, and that they benefit from a lot of those things. It makes them uncomfortable, so they just don't deal
acknowledging
with
it.
Yeah,
man. Raz, my guy Mikey, man, he's that guy. Everybody else has been a fantastic episode. Definitely a classic. Another one for the banners, draft season classic, episode 69. We had to
that's
give
so
you
wild,
guys,
man. Yeah.
We had to give you guys a banger to leave the people with. So but yeah, man, Mikey, once again, thank you so much. I don't plug anything that you got going on, any articles that you have coming out, any content you got going on. If people want to get on, follow Mikey, and so they can't see replies, let them know where they also can follow you, bro.
Yeah, I think you can see my Twitter handle below, but it's _Kuya Mikey. And you can find my work at Baseball Prospectus, Lookout Landing. I have a podcast called It's Never Sunny in Seattle. It's a Seattle Mariners podcast. If you're a fellow suffering fan, I guess this is a good. I teased it the other day, but I am going to be. I guess I'm announcing it here. I'm going to be freelancing now for 538.
Oh shit! Yo, congrats, bro.
Yeah,
Thanks, man.
That's fucking amazing, bro. Congratulations, man. I love it.
Yeah.
Man. You got the new apartment. We got the 538. Things are up and up, man. We love hearing the great news, bro. Definitely got to get you back on here again. In the
Happy to
future.
whenever.
Yeah. Might just do a full music episode. Might have you pull out the guitar.
Shit,
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where it leads us, man. But Raz, final takes, bro. What's on your mind? What else is going on? What else you want to leave the people with before we get out of here?
No, Mikey, appreciate you. Apologies that I spent the first 22 minutes
time. That's fine.
in the Uber.
Uber
I wish
everywhere, man.
I wish it was a colored people time thing. It was being held back by the white man. But I think truthfully, we'll circle back with you once the Mets are disappointing me in a few months, whenever, hopefully in a few months, because things are looking bleak. But I just think looking around right now, Sean, we're gonna bring a lot of content coming up in the next couple of weeks. We do have NFL draft popping off, combine starts this week, NBA's heating up, Knicks fucking suck. So the name this status quo for March. March Madness is also gonna pop too. I don't know what the fuck Michigan State's up to. So we will have a bunch of episodes coming up where I'm gonna yell a lot into the mic about my teams, failing me. But I really do appreciate you coming on here. Don't let Sean lie to you. I wasn't bored with baseball talk. I do love baseball. I just can't get into the analytics. It will literally not make me watch the sport because that's how.
Yeah, you got to keep that childish, that kid energy. That's what it's all about.
And Manfred, here's the last thing I'm gonna leave with. Manfred thinks he running around like he Goodell. And his product is not his product is not what Goodell got. Goodell got that quality product that he's putting out.
That A1 Pettigo.
Yeah, and he and as much as Goodell tries to step on it, he can't. It's just too pure. Manfred is stepped on. It's that Fenty pack, and you need to understand that. You got to reevaluate what the hell you doing, bro, because you selling that boo-boo, and now you pulling up the price on the boo-boo. Come on, bro.
Jurassic Podcast, we out of here, man.